Well, speaking of fireworks, we've had fireworks ever since Game 2. Every single game of this Stanley Cup Finals has just been balls to the wall, electric. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think we've probably come on here now 2 weeks in a row. Has it been like 2 weeks in a row where just like this has been the best Stanley Cup Finals in at least 10 years, I would say.
Yeah, I still am putting it on that pedestal. It's still on the podium for me. But after Game 5, in which Florida kind of handedly took care of business, it was more of a Florida game, a little bit low event after the first. Like, the onus is now back on the Oilers to freaking show up in Game 6 to keep this series, in terms of the entertainment value, up there. It's still up there, but with how
It
this
started
could
to degrade.
potentially, that's what I would say. That's what I would say.
Okay, that's fair. Listen, if you have in two games like that game, Game 3, where
Yeah.
the Panthers just absolutely mauled. I think we literally came on. We recorded that day. We were like, "Oh, I'm expecting, it's gonna go back to Edmonton. It's gonna be very tight. We're expecting
Yeah.
Edmonton to like come out with some
Put the
fire."
fist down. I said Oilers are going up 2-1 here. Like, I was very confident about that.
Nah, no. This kind of has been. I don't want to say the Brad Marchand coming out party. This is the Brad Marchand victory lap, I would say.
Yes,
This is,
that's a good way. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Scores again. He's scored in four
Scored
of the
twice.
5. He did score twice, but he scored in 4 of the 5 Cup final games. The only one he didn't score in was that game, that loss in overtime in Game 4. Scores twice in Game 5, including another just breakaway. Like the fact that
So many breakaways for this dude.
so
eh? Like,
it's unbelievable for a guy that's 37, about to be 38 years old. The
Yeah.
fact that he kind of turns into like a ghost on the ice, and he's just able to get by all like everybody. He's just
yeah.
elusive. I don't know what it is with Marchand. He has to be, for me, in the top 90 percentile for sure. I don't know how much higher
just
up.
getting breakaways, you're saying.
Not just breakaways, but just hockey IQ in general. Because
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think his, like, is he flat out fast? No. Is he flat out faster than most of the league? Maybe, potentially.
Yeah.
But something about like his smarts, I think, puts him in those positions where he's just able to capitalize, and
Without
it really looks like he's just like turning back the clock. This reminds me of like a Brad Marchand of a yesteryear that used to
one that we saw a lot in some Toronto.
I was just about to say it looks like someone that we did see quite often a few years back, but you know what, good for him for playing as well as he has. I don't think anybody's had as good of a final as Brad Marchand.
Just on the skating note, because you brought it up, I looked here on NHL Edge real quick. So his top skating speed, he's 68th percentile, which is lower than you'd think, but speed bursts over 20 miles per hour in the playoffs, 87th percentile. So he's there, he's right there. And then skating distance, just total skating distance, 96th percentile. Now that sometimes, like that stat there, I find could really depend on just the team you play on. Obviously, it's also like, I think it's time on ice dependent. I don't think that's like a skating distance per 60 stat. So obviously, if you're one of the better players, you're on the ice more, you're going to skate more. But it might also be like a Florida play style thing. But I think, to your point, like he's decently fast. He's fast enough that still at 37, you wouldn't consider him slow, which is fast enough. And B, like you said, the separation factor with the IQ. I just wanted to throw those out there while we were on it.
So now, in terms of like skating distance, how is that covered in terms of?
It's literally just like miles skated on the ice of this playoffs. Like it's just a raw stat like that. So it's like take it with a grain of salt. Or whatever.
Okay, yeah. So I'll take it with a grain of salt.
It's not a
especially
per 60
because now I would imagine in that top like 15 percentile is just littered with Panthers and Oilers skaters. Like I wouldn't expect somebody who got eliminated in the first round to be up there, right? 100%. We're gonna take that one with a grain of salt, but it is also interesting. The speed burst one, though, I know we're also like that one's another one where it's like you said in terms of the playoffs, he's got like the speed burst. You also eliminate half of the whoever could be eligible for that stat, but still the other half that's there to be in the top 20, top 15th percentile of that has to be pretty good company, right? So that maybe that does go to my point 100%. Dude, that third line, the Luostarinen, Lundell, and Marchand line, like in a few years when Brad Marchand isn't there, Anton Lundell and Eetu Luostarinen are gonna just be mutants, like heading up the top.
You know
of
what
that
Brad
lineup.
Marchand's nickname is for them? This came out like probably before the finals started, but there was a quote. He like since he got to Florida was calling them Finnish phenoms, right? That's what he would call them. But I think it was Anton Lundell who thought he was saying Finnish females. He's like, why is he calling us? Like he just he didn't know what phenom.
Just
meant.
had no
He just
idea.
didn't hear it right. So yeah, in Brad's own words, they're Finnish phenoms though. So yeah, like it's you look back at just comparing all of like the cup finals and just eventual cup winners, you always talk about the line. And a lot of the time the line isn't the team's first unit. When we think of Tampa, we think about Palat, we think about like Blake Coleman,
Yanni Gourde,
about Barclay Goodrow, Yanni Gourde. Yeah, exactly. That not Palat. It was Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman,
but even
and Barclay Goodrow.
Was Palat played on that top line for like a couple of those runs?
Yeah, and you know what? He as a singular player was one of the more clutch guys for the Tampa Bay Lightning, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the run. So
I think when I think of like just depth lines that just get it done, I automatically go to the HBK line.
yeah,
The Hagelin, Bonino,
and that was
and
not
Kessel line. That wasn't the top line.
not featuring Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin. So
Yeah.
like you do need that quintessential. Everyone calls it like their identity line, whatever cliche term you want to use. But I mean, it's been what it's been built to be, and then some for Florida. Marchand, Lundell, and Luostarinen. So yeah, but I like the Marchand stuff is like still not surprising to me, but it's just like you are 37, Brad, and you have just decided that you are going to be one of the best performers in the Stanley Cup final among active players, and I think even historically. I think the two stats that stuck out most to me that I've saw, Brad is only the second player to score 5 goals in multiple Stanley Cup finals. The other guy is Mario Lemieux. Pretty good. Maybe one of the best.
I heard one as well where it was like I think he might be the only person to score 5 goals with 2 separate teams as well.
That checks out. Well, I mean, because there's only 2 of them, and Mario.
Mario was playing for the Pens.
There we go. That's already fact checked.
There you go.
That was stat number 1, and stat number 2, and I cannot remember where I saw it, but he has, I believe, 9 goals now, and 7 of them.
10 goals now.
10 goals. Okay, so 10 goals. And I don't know if the last one, I don't think the last one was a go-ahead. So let's say 7 of the 10 goals have been to put his team ahead. That is the definition of clutch. That is it right there.
I think technically that goal would have been the game winner because that was his second goal was the 3-0 goal. And they ended up winning 5-2, right? So I believe they count that one as the game winner. So if that's the case,
it depends on definition of like go ahead versus game. They're guess what? They're both clutch.
Yeah,
They're both important.
I think that means in 3 of the 5 games, I think he has game winners. He has the OT winner in game No, I guess it's only 2 of the 5. But regardless, like, still,
Hey.
that's pretty crazy in itself.
Speaking of victory laps, I think you already did this last week, but you get to do it again. Would you like to take a victory lap for how things are trending as far as Conn Smythe? We're trying to figure out where I was going with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hate patting myself on the back, but in this case, so I did mention it on the last episode, but for some reason, something in my head told me to put, especially for how good I would say Brad Marchand played in the first round and the second round. I thought he kind of dimmed a little bit in the third round against Carolina, but something in my head told me if they get back to, like, when they get back to another Cup Finals, I think Brad's gonna have something to prove, especially considering how poorly I would say the end of his last trip to the Cup Finals went in 2019. I think Brad was gonna have something to prove. Did I expect this type of production out of him? No. Maybe I did because I sprinkled a little bit of money on him winning a Conn Smythe.
It's
but
even like the production's been like so condensed right now, right? Like that's the thing is maybe, actually, well, no, because you're saying if you're looking at it the conference final, then no, he had to just pile it on, and that's what he's done.
That's exactly what it was, and his odds were like so high. I was like, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you kind of put in bets like that, especially with the odds that I got. Like I literally got him at 80 times your money. You have to expect just to lose that money, and you bet kind of like accordingly, right? But even I'm like frankly surprised. Like I was like, I kind of just threw it in as an extra. I was like, this is my wild card pick for a Conn Smythe, and the wild card pick is the one that looks to be one of the front runners right now. I would say the only other player that has, if Florida ends up winning, that has a very, very good chance of winning the Conn Smythe, and I still, in my heart, as much as I really want a Brad Marchand Conn Smythe, I still think it's going to go to Sam Bennett just for overall the playoffs that he's had. And it's also not like he's dimmed in the Stanley Cup Finals. I believe he has
again as well.
Yeah, I think he has 3 goals now in the Cup Final, which is just behind Brad Marchand's 5. Like, it's like Brad and then Sam, right? So, on that note, like, I'll take my victory lap, Christian.
Listen, it's preemptive because,
Yeah, if it happens.
Yes, because I would still say, like, I'd say Brad now, front runner, but a Sam Bennett 2-goal game and we're probably... Right, like we're back to Sam Bennett.
So how exactly do you think that they're going to judge this year's Conn Smythe? Because the Conn Smythe is given out to the player who is the MVP of the playoffs, not the Cup Finals. Which
that's why I think we said this last episode. It's like, why can't we just have both? Like, give us Finals MVP and
I know. Right? The NBA does it right.
Then you already know the writers like, okay, we'll give Brad his Finals and we'll give Sam his Conn Smythe, and we're good. Everyone's happy. But 100%. Now we have to. You're right. Now we have to make a decision. I don't know. I honestly tend to think that because it is like a lot of awards, it's a media voted on award. I think the Brad Marchand story is too juicy to not award.
I know. It really is the lifetime, and I want to call it the Lifetime Achievement Award, but for how well he's playing, I think it's so difficult to even call it that, because if you know anything about like when somebody gets, like when they do that stuff like at the Oscars where it's like, we'll kind of give it to him. Case in point, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant. I watched The Revenant. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a very good movie. I don't think it was Leonardo DiCaprio's best performance though. I think maybe it's like in the top 5, but I don't know if it should have won its award when it did, but it was a Leonardo DiCaprio
right some wrongs
100%. So in this case, is the type of performance that Brad Marchand is having? I don't think so. I think this might be Brad Marchand's like coup de grace. Like he's won a cup and he was never this type of player, right?
No.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about.
100%. Yeah, just on the, I don't really know if there's too much to touch on.
Hello.
I'm saying talk and touch on at the same time. Touch on.
Little talking. We're gonna talk it about it.
We're gonna talk it about it. Yeah. I don't think there's too much to touch on with Bennett than we already have. I mean, there's been more swirling around him and his number than there has been about Brad. I think it was I can't remember if it was Elliot who said Florida was looking at Carter Verhaeghe's deal as the comparable for Bennett right now, which is $7 million times 8 years, and that's not going to get it done anymore. It's not going to get it done.
It's going to have to compare to the cap hit, I think, 100%. Like, cap percentage wise, like in terms of whatever that is.
I mean, yeah. I just think, like, if he gets to open market, I think we can kind of throw it all out the window, and it's really just going to be highest bidder in general. Like, I think it's just going to be not a total bidding war, because we'll see where he's even interested in signing, but
yeah,
I think that number is going to get inflated really quick.
So if he does end up going, like when he eventually gets to the open market, and a team offers him 10, but it's an undesirable destination, but Florida's coming in with 8.5. I still am inclined to believe that he's gonna lean towards the 8.5, especially if it's like over 8 years compared to the 7. Like that extra year, I think definitely plays a factor. And I just think South Florida has treated Sam Bennett as good as anybody ever has, right? Like, you remember when he left Calgary, he was a healthy scratch, playing on the fourth line. Shout out to Daryl Sutter for absolutely just mismanaging Sam Bennett's career for the most part, his early parts of his career, the formative years. And look at the type of player that he's turned into. He's really stepped up. He's done everything I think asked of him, basically. And as much as he should be rewarded for his play, I think he also wants to reward Florida as well for taking the chance on him and kind of putting him in the best position to succeed. So I think even if that number starts to drive up, I'm not as inclined to believe that he's going to leave there, honestly.
No, I agree. I do think it's definitely more likely he's staying there. I will say this. As far as his number in Florida, Reinhardt is at 8.625. That was coming right after they won the cup.
And a 50-goal season.
A 60-goal season.
60-goal season. Yeah.
Crazy. I know. It's crazy to think back on that. Here's the thing, though. Here's what Sam Bennett's going to be able to say that no one on this roster can. Potentially could say he has a Conn Smythe. And that is the feather in his cap. Because if he can come in with that, I honestly think he can then ask for more than Reinhardt. I think he can, especially with the cap going up, like you said. I think Tkachuk makes 9.5. Barkov makes 10. I don't think if he wants to stay in Florida, he cannot ask for more than 10. You're not allowed to make more than Alexander Barkov. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But I think he can ask for 9.25 and slot in under Matthew Tkachuk. I think he can make that argument. So
hey, honestly,
that's
dude, for the type of production that he has. Now, listen, we could talk about this deal, whatever deal it is, 8 years from now. Maybe it doesn't look as good, but you hope also with the rising cap. But just his play right now, like barring anything catastrophic over the next 3 to 5 years, I would expect Sam Bennett to be a similar type of player. Maybe doesn't score 15 goals in any other playoff run, but for what he brings on the ice every time he's on there, besides the points, I think that's a bullet you have to bite. Like, and I don't think 9 is... I don't know if... I find that more palatable than him, like, coming to, let's say, the Leafs, and it's, like, 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
We'll get more
Leaf talk.
more info on this, obviously, by the time we talk next. Then we'll see what the rumors say. Because someone's gonna bite the bullet. It's not like he's gonna go and sign it. No one bites the bullet. Someone will bite the bullet. So we'll see. Or maybe it's him that bites the bullet and takes the lower number. I think we do got to talk Edmonton side of things here really quick.
I was gonna say the series is heading back to Edmonton for the last time. Like, this will be the last game in Edmonton. What do the Oilers need to do to get back into this game or into this series?
I mean, so is it like? Sorry, you know what? Tonight is in Florida. We forget the Florida. I mean, Edmonton does have the nice advantage.
That's right. They were in Edmonton. Oh my God.
I know. No, it's okay.
I was coming into this like they're going to Edmonton. It's gonna be a tough one, but then they might have to go back to Florida to play. I completely forgot about that.
This is the scenario in front of us. They are in Florida tonight for Game 6. Oversimplified answer first. Show up in the first period, Jesus Christ! Show
up in the second period too. If you show up in the first,
yeah, it's just I've now heard some answers. I think from McDavid and Corey Perry, from watching Sportsnet Central last night, where they're like, for some reason we like to make it hard on ourselves, but that's how we like it or whatever. And it's like, that's not a good answer. Like,
I don't know if that's going to work in an elimination game now.
Yeah, they're painted in a corner now, so it really doesn't matter what the hell they say. You either do it or you don't. I cannot believe, as someone who came into the series, picking the Oilers here in 5, okay? I'm sorry, Oilers fans, because I doubted you every series until this one, and now I finally come to your side, and this is what happened. So, obviously this is my fault, but no, I've been really surprised and disappointed with the starts, and I think a lot of people are going to first point to the goaltenders. I don't. Like, it's not about the goaltenders in the first period. It is not. It's not. It's as simple as that. So, are they going to show up and actually push the pace in the first period here? Florida has scored 2 goals in every first period in this game, which is ridiculous. Like, you cannot expect to win.
You're not winning like that.
You can. No. You can. The fact that we're still Game 6, you can tie the series, get it to the decider in Game 7 is crazy that they're still in this spot.
I think, frankly, the only reason that we're in this spot right now is that the Oilers had to do something like quite literally Stanley Cup final historical by coming back from multi-goal, like down by multi-goals in Game 4, right? And against a team that just doesn't lose a third period. Or
and
lose
that was
the
the second time they've done it in this series, yeah.
Right? Like, that's the only reason that we are in this position right now. So,
yes.
It's not good enough, basically, right?
B, the high-stakes stuff, like, that. There wasn't... I mean, no, they took 2 high-stakes in the first period last game as well. Like, this is now... I think they've taken 4 high-staking penalties in the series, and I saw a stat that the high-staking infractions were 12 for Edmonton, and I think 2 for Florida in the playoffs overall.
Yeah.
That's just a discipline thing, once again. So there's those 2 things. I don't know. And then on the goalie front, like, I really... Once again, oversimplifying here, but I do not care who starts this game for the Oilers. Because the onus is on the skaters to show up here. I think maybe you go to Skinner because, A, it's the guy you start your season with. It's the guy who you ran with last year. Like, it's the guy who got the bulk of the games. You should go with your guy. And I also kind of like what we've seen from Pickard in relief. Like, he seems to have the mindset to be able to come in relief and pick up the game wherever they left off. I think I like that look probably a little bit better than trying to switch from Pickard to Skinner if things go wrong. But like I said, onus is on the skaters. Like, pick up your goalie here to start the game for how many times the goalie has picked you up in the latter half of games. So, yeah, I'm a little peeved with how the Oilers have put themselves into this spot.
I think every time, though, you kind of back, especially over the last couple of years, every time you back this Oilers team into a corner, they come out swinging. So I really wouldn't be surprised if tonight is the turning point night. For as much as I've been, rah-rah Panthers, I'm gonna put a little bit of faith in the Oilers tonight. That might be stupid. I might be wrong. But if there's any time for them to come out and give it all you got, lay it on the line, as some would say.
I wish you still had the commercial. They got rid of it. They canned it.
I'm so glad they got rid of it. I was over it by the second round.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is quite literally, it is do or die tonight. Like, there is no hyperbole about it. Like, this is the end of your season if it's not there. This is the end of the season, like, in general. So. Yeah. 100%.
McDavid finally got on the board last game, so maybe that unlocks something for him. Because 100%. This is we saw in the NBA yesterday. The number 2 guy for OKC, Jalen Williams, popped off for 40 points, and it's like you either need a pop off performance from one of your unsung guys, but like I could totally see a Corey Perry spot here. Like, this is a guy
100%.
as desperate to tie up this series as anyone on the Oilers. Or it's like a McDavid takeover type of game. Like, I need to see that tonight. I the only observation I'd make, and I think it's one that other people have made too, is just you look at the series on the whole right now. On balance, there's of course like the fact that the Florida Panthers have led for more than 200 minutes in this series compared to the Oilers in 30-minute mark, right? Like, so that is obviously lopsided. I mean, I think back to the storylines in the Edmonton LA series in the first round, and it was, can LA win a Edmonton style game, right? And what we actually ended up happening is Edmonton winning a couple LA styled games, right? Mm-hmm. That's how they won that series. In this series so far, it's been Florida who has won an Edmonton style game, right? They had their game 2 OT thriller. I would call that the Edmonton style game. But Florida's other 2 wins have been Florida playbooks, textbook Florida games. Pile it on early and pack it in to close it out. Just a low event game after getting a lead, and the Oilers were kind of trapped. They couldn't get anything going. So we've seen that in Game 3, and we saw that again in Game 5. So on balance, the Florida Panthers here are the ones who have took the style of play victories. We need to see Edmonton have an Edmonton Oilers shutdown game like they had multiple times throughout this playoffs. Where remember McDavid came out, he's like, "Oh yeah, we can play defense."
Oh yeah,
we need that game because we've only seen the Oilers play offense, and when the offense hasn't been there, we haven't seen enough defense. So,
100%.
Yeah, lay it on the line. That's it. Okay.
That's it. That is it. So yeah, like I mentioned before, Game 6 goes tonight in Florida, as I'm just finding out again today, and I should have known that. But Game 6 goes tonight at 8 p.m. We'll see. Do we want to do a little prediction here? What do we think? What do you think happens tonight, Christian?
I'm going to have to stick with what I came into the series with in terms of the team I backed, because the games is not happening. But give me 4-2 Oilers. I want to see exactly what I'm asking for from the Oilers. A really thorough effort where we see them from start to finish be in the game, dictate the play, and not just offensively. I want to see an Oilers dictate a game on both ends of the ice.